Please note, Jeff, and anyone, everyone and anyone wants a beta copy of any of these things, certainly let me know any of the strategies. Jeff, I know already you're keenly interested in and around point and figures. So this alternate strategy that we're running, if it continues to show promise, I will get you certainly a beta. So you don't even have to ask. Just know that. And we should have a good view on that here shortly. And what we are running, we are running HFT2. Let me give, excuse me, the settings that we're running that's going in up here. We're running it on point and figure. I have point and figure at 5.5, 5.5 points a brick, $3 reversal, and I have it HFT2, excuse me, and HFT2 is set at a profit switch at $1,200 and $1,200, a prevent negative outlier at 800, and the length right now, we've really tried to speed it up here a little bit or have it more sensitive. We have it at 1 and 1, actually 1 and 1, just a little bit different than last week. And we'll keep you posted, but that's what's running in the background. For those that are stopping by on YouTube, I'm Bagadon. This is StockMarketCaddy.com. You are seeing the Swing Machine. It is Monday, March 4th at about 10 a.m. And they're running the Russell. The small caps, of course, they're continuing to run the AMDs and the NVIDIAs of the world. And the breadth of the market is getting more and more narrow. And but we're happy to answer any questions you might have. So feel free. We're not punching up to to give away trades here. We're not, but if you have questions, you are on delay on YouTube, so it's wouldn't be a good idea to be shadowing. That's not why we're doing what we're doing here. We're just trying to give you a chance to see what we're up to and what we're looking at, and a chance for you to ask any questions. At the moment, yeah, we got the S&P trending higher. Short-term Nasdaq is under some pressure. It's going to be under some serious pressure here real soon. And if I was to take the over/under bet this week, if you're playing that game, I would be taking the under bet. So if you're looking, between now and Friday, are we going to be higher or are we going to be lower? I think we'll be lower. But we're using our tools day in and day out to measure precisely our trades. And so we're not doing that sort of thing, but we'll see. The other big hype stock is SMCI. And let's plug it in here just for giggles. SMCI. And let's put it in a daily view. When would Swing Machine have bought this? 54 days ago, 54 days ago, Swing Machine goes long SMCI at 294.40. You're up 265%. You're at 90. You are in euphoria. So congratulations to anybody that's got it. Getting in is one thing, knowing when to get out is another. Sometimes you don't want to. Sometimes you want to stay, but they are going bonkers with it. And we'll put the ES back onto a 5-minute view. This is a equity curve for HFT2 with a length of 1 and 1 on that point and figure. And so I am going to stay with this a little bit and vet this out. We're profitable right now, so but that's what it looks like. Any member that is hearing this or coming through and wants the settings of what we're running and what we're looking at, don't hesitate. And for those that are watching on YouTube, this is a Swing Machine. This is our pristine view of our flagship product called Radar Screen, or a Swing Machine on the TradeStation radar screen. And you can see um, the S&P is kind of mixed right now, but the big trade right now is the Nasdaq coming in. Good morning, folks that are passing by on YouTube. If you have any questions on what it is you're seeing, if you want us to plug in any stocks, the big stock is that micro. What is that symbol? SMC. We were just looking at it. SMC. What is that thing? Um, that microcomputer stock that is going to take over the world. We'll plug it in and to show you when Swing Machine. If you want us to plug in any of your stocks, we're happy to do it. You want to vet us real time live, we're happy to. Anybody give me that symbol? Let me see if I can find it here. I just had it. Bear with me. Wow, we're in bubble territory when Davey Day Trader, Dave Portnoy, he's back at it again. He's back for more. He got his clocks cleaned, but now he's back at it. So things are getting frothy with that ass clown. Excuse the French, but he is actually grew up in the town right next door to me. He's done well for himself, but I wouldn't be taking any of his stock picks. Um, what is that symbol? SMC, let's see. It's not we'll find it. Here it is. It's a super microcomputer, and it is flaming on fire, right? So let's put it in. The symbol is SMCI. Now let's not trade it on a 5 minute, because if you traded it on a 5 minute, yeah, you would have made like $45 a share. But let's put it on a daily view. We did this earlier for our members. Daily view on Swing Machine. So you hear about a stock and you're like, do I want to buy it? Do I want to sell it? Well, if you had plugged this into Swing Machine 54 days ago, you would have bought it at $294.40 at 4 p.m. on December 14th. The trend is solidly up. You are pushing into euphoria. I'd be protecting my profits. You would be up in percentage terms 265%. That's just one of the ways that we will cull out the trades that we want to make and or the investments we want to make. It's objective, it's consistent, it's very good, and you don't have to listen to Cramer. And we'll put it back to a futures contract. Now we trade futures intraday because they're highly liquid, they're leveraged, and we can get in and get out, make our cash flow, and go do it again another day. If you've got a stock you want us to plug in, how about Tesla? Tesla's getting its butt kicked. Let's take a look at Tesla. Yep. If you had shorted Tesla just 15 minutes ago, you'd be up $3, 1.76%. But let's put it on a daily view. 38 days ago, Swing Machine said you want to sell it. You want to get out of it at $234.96 at 4 p.m. on January 9th. And the trend is, it's not doing so well. You would be up, if you had shorted it, 17.8, rounded off, 18%. If you were long and you got out, you saved yourself 18%. No Cramer, no Investors Business Daily, no Wall Street Journal, Swing Machine. If you want us to plug in your stock, let us know. We'll be here. We've got work to do in the background. And so we're not going to be chatting away, but happy to answer any questions. If anyone passing through on YouTube has any questions about who we are, what we're doing, what you're looking at, what is happening in the markets, and or if you want us to plug in anything you might be watching, any one of the stocks, and you want to give Swing Machine an acid test, real time, I mean, you'll be 30 seconds behind, but if you want to know, when did Swing Machine go long? AMD, NVIDIA, Super Microcomputer, Tesla, Microsoft, Walmart, you name it, we'll show you. Happy to. Would you not like to be able to just shut it all off, man? Shut off all that noise. The Kramers of the world, the Michael Saylors of the world. We just did we're making a message. Dave Portnoy is quite a character, and he's bemoaning the fact that he isn't in Bitcoin. Let me show you something. We just showed him. He's probably not going to watch, but that's okay. I'm going to plug in Bitcoin. And I'm going to put Bitcoin on a daily basis. Now, this is a leveraged Bitcoin. This is 5 Bitcoins. But when did Swing Machine go along Bitcoin? 25 days ago. Now, forget about how much money. This is a leverage trade, how much it's up. But the percentage, it went long at 44,205 a coin at 5 p.m. on January 29th. You'd be up 51% on Bitcoin. The trend is very good. You're pushing into euphoria. As an example. Now, you know, if I had Dave Portnoy's money, I could throw all mine away. But if Dave Portnoy wanted to get long Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, hodl it, hold on for dear life. Do that. I don't have a problem with that. Somebody wants to buy Bitcoin, put it in a digital wallet and sit on it for years, do that. But please, for the love of Pete, learn how to hedge it. So when Bitcoin comes down, and it will come down from God knows where, we'll just do it then. What you do is you don't sell your Bitcoin. You go into the futures market and you sell the futures against your holdings. And when you do that, and then when it goes long, you don't go long again on the futures. You just kill the hedge. And you still got the Bitcoin and you still have the value. You don't let them take the value away. That's why I'm getting a kick out of it, because he's making these videos and he doesn't know whether to, he's all bamboozled. He's so confused. He doesn't know who to listen to. Oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, because he's making decisions based on narratives, making decisions based on emotion. It is what it is. We got a question coming through. This is Uncle Jer up in Quebec. Good morning. May I ask a question? Yes. How come you can input any ticket and you can see how much profit loss has been generated? Surely Swing Machine isn't trading every single market, right? No, I don't have a position in every single market. No. But so it's tracking, Uncle Jer is his screen name. It's tracking what the trade would have been if you had taken it, right? So now we don't have, we have a trade up here that is doing something different. But if somebody had bought Bitcoin 25 days ago, I did not buy Bitcoin. There's more opportunity here than one has money for. But you would be up 51%. We'll plug in anything. Give me, let's do an acid test. You want to see Tesla? That's what we were just looking at. Tesla, Swing Machine is short Tesla 38 days ago. Am I short Tesla? No. But if I had been long Tesla, if I had Tesla in my IRA account or my 401k account and Swing Machine went short, I would have sold it. I would have just got out. And I wouldn't have a position in Tesla, but I also would have saved my account a drawdown of 18%. I don't know where Tesla's going. I don't know. Maybe it's going to $50. I don't know. Maybe it's going to turn around and go long. But how are you going to know? It's just like, so let's say, Uncle Joe, that the big stock that everyone's talking about right now is SMCI, I think. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. SMCI. So say 54 days ago, you were listening to the rodeo clown, Kramer, I don't know, one of them, or you saw it on Reddit, or you saw it someplace, and you heard somebody mention SMCI. Well, if you did that 60 days ago, it would have been in a short position. We can deduce that. So maybe you plug it in and you start watching it. 6 days later, which would have been 54 days ago, Swing Machine would have gone long. Per share, you'd be up $796. This is per share right now, but you'd be up 271% if you had gone long at 294.40 at 4 p.m. on December 14th. The trend is solidly up, no question about it. It is at 90, though, on the fear and greed meter. It is pushing into euphoria. The likelihood is, that there's going to be a significant pullback. But you don't want to short it necessarily, unless one was a real aggressive and using defined options. So there's more opportunity. There's tons of opportunity in these markets every single day in every single market. But if a person doesn't know what they're doing in terms of, doesn't understand how to use options, doesn't understand how to use futures, doesn't understand the difference between getting short, getting long, and is making decisions based on the money, then you're going to lose because you'll be trading greed and fear and you will lose. I mean, it's like taking candy away from a baby. I mean, Wall Street and Madison Avenue know this. They work it together. And that's why if you go and you look on Twitter, you'll see, I found it amusing. Portnoy, he's a very smart guy, right? He's a gambler, crazy gambler, right? But then he's made a fortune, with bar stools, and like I say, he's literally from the next town over. We're across town rivals. He's from Swampscott, Massachusetts, the rich neighborhood. I'm the city kid, right next door, and they had a great football team, by the way. But he's bemoaning the fact, why aren't I in Bitcoin? Why aren't I in it? It's going up. It's driving me crazy. And he's seeing all the rich kids running around with Bitcoins. And he doesn't know, is it going to go up further? Is it going to pull back? And he's all caught up in the emotion of it. And he did own it at one time. And then when Bitcoin went and Bitcoin had gone short here, and he got scared and he puked it out and he never got back in. You'll realize at some point of your trading career, your investment career, at some point, you'll realize that no one trade is going to make you rich. It shouldn't. No one trade should therefore make you broke. But once you realize that, right? Because if you are looking to make one trade to make you rich, then you are gambling on red or black, and you are gambling on a Super Bowl game, and maybe you get it, maybe you don't. Because if you gamble everything on one trade to make you rich, you run the risk of losing it all. We don't do that. And I don't suggest anybody do that. So once you realize that no one trade can make you rich, then no one trade can make you poor. Reasonable? But once you realize that, now you got to be faced with decisions to buy and sell, sell and buy for the rest of your life. And how are you going to do that? This is what I said to Susan 20-something years ago. I said, Susie, these people are liars. They are nuts. It's not the same people, but it is the same shtick. Back then, it was, fiber optics. Back then, Kramer was around back then, CMGI. But then it was the guy who founded Business Insider, who, by the way, Dave Portnoy hates. And he is a terrible person too, by the way. But they're the same people. And everyone wants to hype everything so that people are forced to buy the stuff that they own so they can turn around and dump it. So when SMCI, they decide to dump it, we will see it. We're tracking money flow. We track money flow to extract cash flow. That's it. That's it. I mean, it's amusing. But let me know. Let me ask the question, Uncle Joe. Oh, okay, I see. Really interesting that you can track that. I assume if you were Bitcoin, you could set up swing machines so that it trades that product. Yeah, you set up anything. And not only that, now the other thing that you can do at TradeStation that you can't do it at many of the other brokerages, you can get the machine to trade it. They'll let you put it in and put it out. We can set up, this is the trade signal. And when the trade signals go off, and that's what we don't build alerts, but you can build them. You want to subscribe to somebody that's got some sort of alert service, but you have no idea what the hell it's doing. Why do you want to buy and sell based on what someone else is setting up? I wouldn't. It's my money. I want to know. So we don't set up an alert service. We do something better. We give you, as an annual member, you get all the tools. And you want to set up an alert service so that when swing machine goes long or short on any interval or anything, and that message goes to your email, goes to your phone, you set up your own. This is doing your own thing, but you got to have some time. You got to have, I think I'm asked all the time, you got to have a passion to want to do this. Number one, because I think it's just important to have a passion to do whatever it is you're doing in life. You don't have a passion. If you don't like golf, don't play golf. So you got to have a passion. You got to have, I think, a disciplined approach. You've got to have risk capital. Okay, you can't do this on a shoestring. Okay, you can't. And there's an old saying, which I don't like it, but it's the truth. You can't play with scared money. Meaning, you can't be borrowing money that you don't have to play the market. I don't think that's a good idea. I just don't. It puts too much pressure on a person. So you got to have risk capital. You've got to have time. You've got to have a discipline. You've got to have patience. And everybody is different. And I cannot, I can only describe this to a person. And during the Q school, when a person comes into the Q school, I'm with them every day. They get to know me. I get to know them, for better or for worse. We're going to be together for 3 weeks. I don't know sitting here today, if you haven't been through it, I don't know how you're going to do. But I do know at the end of the 3 weeks, you will know, for better or for worse. And we have members that take to this like a duck to water. They just take it and go. And then we have others that can struggle. And it can be for a host of reasons. Fortunately, we think is the minority. I mean, we can just tell from our membership. Our monthly membership retention is close to 90%. Our retention for annual memberships I wish it was higher, is about 75%. I wish it was higher. But I think some folks may begin to realize, like, well, it's more decisions than I want to make. It takes more time. I can't, whatever it is. We've had folks say like, I hate computers. Okay, that's probably not going to be for you. If you have it in your mind that you're going to corner the market, we're not cornering the market. Swing Machine will get trades wrong. Let me show you something. This is, I think, is crazy. Good. Let me bring into view. We got a view here. We got a few folks. I want to show you something. And this is going to be real time, right? So, all right, here we go. Bear with me. All right. This is, you ready? This is for YouTube. All right. This is, let me see if I can, I'll see if I can blow this up here. All right. So this is Swing Machine on a daily basis with the S&P 500 stocks in here. This is the signal. This is how it's positioned, either long or short. This is the age of the signal. 3 days. So it's been long CMS for 3 days. It went long at 57.37 just on the 29th. Now the position is up $163. It's based on 10,000, but in percentage terms, makes everything equal 1.64%. So you've got a lot of information here. These opportunities here. Now this one here is actually short. This one here is dipping on the trend, and it's actually underwater for 4.58%, right? So Swing Machine will get trades wrong, and he will have drawdowns. But what he won't do is he won't stay wrong for long. He won't. He'll kick him out because he has no ego. Now, if you hold on to him, you hold on to him. But he'll also hold on to winners. So what you want to know, what I would want to know is, hey, Don, show me real time. Now you're on 30-second delay. I'm going to sort this. Who is the top stock market caddy Swing Machine pick? AMD. 82 days ago, it went long at $112.25. If you bought it and you still have it with 10,000, you're up 86, but the percentage is 86%. It's battling it out with NVIDIA. But also there's something United Rentals, NRG, Broadcom, Facebook, something called TPR. Do I have positions in every one of these? No, I don't. But we're traders, right? We trade. And now let me see if I can show you. I can show you. Pay attention to the label row takes up 1. There are 500 stocks here. I'm going to show you. We're going to go down. Now pay attention to, we're profitable all the way down. Let's keep going. Down, 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 down. Now I'm going to look at this one. This is Pfizer. He's short 176 days ago. Couple ways to look at this. If you went short Pfizer at 38.73, yeah, you're up 33%. But if you were long Pfizer in your retirement account and you decided to get out, you saved yourself 33%. It's up to you. But let's keep going down. I want to go here. So we go down. It's still green. Down, 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 down. We're still going. We're long and short. We're short and long. We're getting all kinds of. Now the picture is going to get mixed, but let's keep going. We're still green. We're still green in the percent return, right? Here we go. We're still green. And that's it. So out of 500 stocks, he's profitable in 405. Now, some of these could have been losers earlier, but he will get out or he will reverse. So you can't go to sleep on this. You've got to decide, hey, if you're going to take things over, And actually, we still got some in here that now the yellow ones are positions, they're flat right now. Now, he is suffering some drawdowns, but they're relatively small. So let's scroll down so you can see the drawdowns, percent return. So these are drawdowns. He's getting them. Now, there could be opportunities to get a little better price than Swing Machine, but the worst one is Rockwell, and he's down for some reason 12%. But that's the worst. So I just showed you 500 stocks. I showed you real time how we're positioned long or short. I showed you the entry price, the entry time, the date. I showed you the strength of the trend. I showed you it on a fear and panic gauge. It is what it is. I don't have a crack research team. I don't have a bunch of unemployed bookers from Wall Street that want to talk about retail sales and the jobs numbers and the economic this and the economic mumbo jumbo and the quad one, quad two. That's all garbage. They're storytellers. I don't tell stories. What we do is pretty boring. We're here to go in and make money, extract cash flow from the money flow. That's it. Everybody else is telling stories. So I just, I mean, we love showing now there's a ton of different ways that you could have traded SMCI. If you had put $10,000 into SMCI at 200, yeah, you got $30,000. But maybe you sold some put credit spreads. Could have made great money there all the way up. Do you know what a put credit spread is? Do you know how to do it? You know, I mean, we'll teach you, but you have to do them. You have to learn. Did you buy some calls? Do you know how to do call debit spreads? Define your risk. I would rather see a person. You cannot possibly know what is going on inside of a company, having worked in a company, right? I don't come from Wall Street, but they lie, including the companies I work for. They lie. The sales reps lie. The sales managers lie. The management lie. They lie. They got stock options. They don't want to lose their job. And they lie to do everything they can to keep the stock up so everybody can get the stock options. You can't possibly know, even in a company you work for, just how well it's doing, how poorly it's doing. And you don't know if they're pulling some shenanigans. So if you don't know in a company that you work for, how the hell are you going to know if you're sitting, Uncle Joe is sitting in Quebec? I'm sitting in Tampa, Florida. I don't even know where this company SMCI is located. I don't know. Maybe they're running a big ass Ponzi scheme. I don't know. Maybe they're going to go to $5,000 a share. I don't know. Maybe they're real. Maybe they aren't. But I will say this is that if they start dumping their stock, we're going to see it. And I'm going to act. Because the one thing that's true is this, and you know it to be true. Do you ever see those videos where a big bodied plane lands rough on the runway? And the thing, it doesn't totally disintegrate, but it crashes into the grass. The wings are on fire and the chutes come out and people are running off the plane. Actually, they're not really running. And some of them are carrying their bags. They stopped to get their shit out of the overhead. Not me. I'm getting my butt off the plane, right? But I'm probably going to be surrounded. You are surrounded with those people in this market. This, they're all flying high. They're having a hell of a time. They're partying and, on SMCI. But when the party's over, how are you going to know? We're going to know. We're going to know. Now, do you have the experience? Do you have all that is necessary to keep your emotions in check? I'm going to probably say, if you haven't been doing this, probably not. Probably not. We will do our level best to educate you and to show you how, but then you're going to have to practice, practice, practice doing what? Controlling your emotions. We equate this a lot of times to flying a plane. From what I'm not a pilot, I don't want to be, but they practice stalls, right? You got to know what you're going to do in advance. You got to be prepared. And you have to do it, right? I don't send out the alerts. We do a video view every night for our monthly members, and they get a view. They can slow the video down. If you go back 89 to 90 days ago, the buy signals would have been there for AMD and NVIDIA. We have members that took them. We have members that didn't. I didn't. We have options on some of that. It's just how we choose to want to trade, though. I hope that makes sense. We have dozens of these, dozens of tools. It's decision-making trading, software. I'm not suggesting that this is for everyone, though. I'm not. Thank God everyone isn't doing this. It would be much more difficult. And here's the S&P futures on a daily, 77 days ago. Now it's delivered 14%. 14%. So if you put $100,000 into the SPY, yeah, you're up $14,000. But if you put it into a leveraged futures contract, you're up 33,000 because this is 14% return from here, but this is a leveraged market. That makes sense? Good questions. I'm happy to show you. We just have so much, right? The Q School has on-demand video instruction, and then we set you up for 3 weeks, one person, at most two, every day, and I want to spend ideally an hour with you each day, answering the questions that you have in a live market environment. And then we just can't, it could be longer, it could be faster. If we do it right, you're going to want to get going. By the end of the 3 weeks, you'll be like, all right, I've had enough of this. I got to get going. If you need longer, you'll still have the support, but we can't maintain that type of intensity because we trade ourselves and we have new people coming in all the time. But this is learning to trade your game, not me, right? So I'm not, going to be Peter Schiff. I'm not going to be, pontificating about gold. I'm not going to. Let's put gold in while we're here, right? What about gold? All right. I mean, I like gold. All right, this is on a 5-minute interval, but let's slow it down. And you could do gold using on a daily. Gold went long 3 days ago. 3 days ago. Now, on a futures contract, if you went long at 2,054, one contract, you're up $6,000. It's up 3%. The trend is up. Yes, it's in euphoria. Much better to have bought it here, but it's probably going to continue. Now, it's probably going to pull back, and then you could buy it on a pullback, but it's moving. The markets are constantly moving. And we just got a trade there go off. Get that thing. Oops. So you can see this is actually changed. The machine is actually trading the NQ. And let me just take a peek at it for a moment. Oops, bear with me. But I'm happy to answer any question. And but this is how we monitor and what we do. So I don't trust anyone in the market. I just assume that I am not the dumbest person, but I'm the most ignorant person. I don't know anything about anything. I want to be able to move left and I want to be able to move right. So if I can track the money flow and go where they're going, then that's what we do. And by the way, if you didn't want to trade, you could trade stocks, right? Or ETFs. Here's gold, GLD. GLD actually went long, a little unusual that it went a little bit earlier, but was 7 days ago. You'd be up 3.5%. And if you have other ETFs or stocks while you're on YouTube and you want me to plug in, and I'll give you an acid test. Now, if he went long for 2 days and then, all hell broke loose and he sold, well, then you would see it. He would say, sell, get out. Not every trade that Swing Machine tees up is a winning trade. A lot of them. A lot of them. And of course, on the larger time frames, they're going to be much more stable. They're going to be, they take longer. We'll put this in ESH. We'll put this back to the futures contract. And we'll put this back to an intraday. So we're trading intraday because we're pretty practiced at this, and we can, move our money in and out and extract cash flow on an intraday basis. The further out we go, we'll use options and define our risk and use less leverage as a general rule. Make sense? Hope so. Well, I don't think, why Owl Eye is asking is the Dow short now? So please don't take, we're showing you this to give you an opportunity to ask questions. I wouldn't be suggesting that anybody take these trades. You're on delay and you don't know how to trade Swing Machine intraday, right? So, but to interpret this, Swing Machine on a 5-minute basis is actually long, is long. The 1 minute is short, right? So it's got a mixed picture. We would actually teach not to short it. Wait for this to fail and then try to go long on the 5-minute. But there are techniques to trading this intraday that I don't have time to go into. We can also get the machine to do any of this, but we can also ask the machine to give you an idea of what's possible. We talk about, high frequency trading or frequency trading or, we can even here, we can ask the machine if the 5-minute interval is long, only take 1-minute trades long, and the machine will do that. So we can trade multiple time frames against each other or hedge, or we could go long the YM on a 5-minute, and every time the 1-minute goes short, we could short the micro contracts maybe with half the leverage against it. We can do that sort of thing. We can trade, the euro in the dollar. So I love showing this. So let me, so at DX is the dollar. We showed this the other day. This happens to be on a delay, but it isn't going to make that big of a difference because we're going to look at this on a daily. And we're going to put the euro in here. So let me change this to a daily as an example here. I'm squeezing this in, and the euro is, so this is pretty cool. So the dollar went long 33 days ago. 33 days ago. It's dipping, but it's 33 days ago. It's delivered 0.4%. On a futures contract, it has delivered $423. Now, a futures contract for the dollar is about $2,000. The euro, which is generally almost diametrically opposite the dollar, two of the biggest currencies in the world. That went short 31 days ago. That uses about $3,500 or so thereabouts in margin. It's up 593. So 31 to 33 days ago, you could have got long the dollar, short the euro. Your total capital to go overnight was be about $5,000, and you've got a tool to measure it, and you'd be up what about 20%? Because you'd be up $1,000 in your 5,000. For all the hullabaloo about Bitcoin, we have seen the dollar wasn't that long ago where the dollar went long at about 97 cents a contract, ran to $1.10, and it was up $20,000. It was a 10 bagger. You could have got long the dollar for $2,000 and made 20 grand. And everyone wants to hoot and holler about Bitcoin. Okay, it's up, 50%. So what? So what? And if you are one of those folks that everything's got to go up and up, and you're only on one side of the trade, long, I got to be going fast. You're always going to be chasing the highs. And traders, we hedge, we go long, we go short, we go against, and we're extracting the cash flow, the spread in between. If you are pouring all your money into your IRA and the 401k and you need the market to go, so we don't even really care how high it goes. I mean, it could go to 10,000, it could go to 20,000. I don't know. But you could be, you could do all that. And then, 5 months before you retire, then maybe the market goes down 90%. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, yeah, it can. It has done that. The NASDAQ on March 5th of 2000 was at 5,100. The NASDAQ is at 18,000 now. 9 months later, it was down 90%. It didn't get back to 5,000 until 10 years later. And now it's gone from 5,000 to 18,000. But could the NASDAQ go down 90%? Yeah, it could. And what are you going to do if it does it right before you retire? Then what? You spent your whole life buying, and never thought about ever when I'm going to sell. How the hell are you going to know when to get out? You're going to go to that boutique broker down the street, I won't mention any of their names, that guy who's God knows what, come in from some other industry, and they plug him in, they fill his head full of a bunch of crap, and then he just goes out and gathers money. He's got a big corner office or some big tall building. Trust me, I've met them. And then what? So, anywho, it is what it is, folks. I've heard all the stuff. They will tell you, oh, you can't time the market. It's not about timing the market. It's about time in the market. Okay, sure. 24 years ago, you know what the big stock of the day was? There was a ton of them. Sun Microsystems. It'd make NVIDIA look like, nothing. Sun Micro, symbol SUNW. Where are they? Out of business. Oh. Global Crossing, WorldCom. Companies are just, gone. Tons of them. And I think we put in Tesla, and Tesla, Tesla right now is, how about Apple? What is Apple doing? On a daily basis. We won't trade it on an intraday basis. You see, if you trade stocks intraday, and you do it 5 times in 1 week, then the government will charge you as a pattern day trader. Bad. Oh, that's bad. I'm joking, but that's what they'll do. And you got to have a minimum of $25,000 in your account, or they'll lock it up. And then there's all sorts of unfriendly tax considerations, wash sale rules, and yada yada. Now, if you trade options, you don't have to be concerned with that. If you trade futures, you don't have to be concerned with that. But let's look at Apple on a daily basis. Maybe you've been long Apple. So let's put it on we just want to do Apple now. I don't want to change everything here. So let's just try to do this. Apple went short 15 days ago. So maybe you've been holding Apple. You don't have to short it. You don't have to. But maybe you wanted to sell some calls against it. Maybe you wanted to buy some puts against it. If you got out of your Apple position, you saved yourself 6.67% in losses. I don't know where Apple's going. I don't know. Maybe it's going to turn around next week and buy and go long. If it does that, okay, then fine, we'll go it. We'll go the other way. Now you might say, well, but then I got to pay the taxes. Yeah, taxes are a business expense, just like commissions are a business expense. We don't concern ourselves with it. Because what we don't know is if you want to be a hodler and hold on to Apple, Apple might be Sun Microsystems. Sun Microsystems went to $2 a share. JDS Uniphase was a darling. They were going to build out all the fiber optics. It was trading at $200 a share. Went to $2, and now they're gone. There's market history. Folks, unfortunately, world history in general, only begins and ends where their life begins and ends, their life experiences. If you go to these buildings in town, there are these buildings in downtown, big brick buildings, and they got these things, they got like shelves on them, and they got these books. Kidding, being facetious, but there's a book, it was written in the 1930s, I think, called The Madness of Crowds. Talks about the psychology, the tulip bubble, the South Seas plantation bubble. These bubbles happened centuries ago in the 1800s. People were doing the same shit back then that they're doing today. And they behaved the same way. I would just say that, because of technology, though, it's much quicker and it's much faster. Much faster. When everyone forgets COVID's now ancient history. When we got the cell signal in February, what was it, 2020 or 2021? I forget now. But it was in February. We knew about COVID in January. We knew about it in February, and Swing Machine was long, long, long. And then on February, I think it was February 24th, we got the cell signal. And 3 weeks later, the market was down 30%, straight down, boom. Maybe you dumped out then. Maybe you panicked and sold. Now it did come back in Swing Machine, and in our tools did get long again. But maybe they didn't. Maybe the next time you say, well, when we go down 30% again, I'm going to step in and buy. No, but they might go down another 30% and another 30 then. There's no guarantees. Things will be different. I can promise you that. It will be different, but the behavior will be the same. The behavior we have today is extremely dangerous because the majority of the market participants have no history here. They've only seen the market go up for the last 10 to 12 years. And they're invested passively. So in 2000, when we were, Susie and I were, doing what everyone else is doing, flying around and working and doing all that, right? I would say it was about 70 to 80% of all the money in the market was actively managed, meaning we would put the monies we didn't necessarily, but into mutual funds. And people would shop for the best fund managers. Nicholas Applegate and all these fund managers. It was a ripoff. But that's what they would do. It wasn't that they were necessarily trading themselves. There were certainly people doing that, but not that many, because they wouldn't even let you short. But it was actively managed. In 2005, the ETF market started to explode. Now, we think that was in anticipation of the crash in '08. We think they created the ETF world so that they were ready to manage the crash that was going to come right in between the presidential election, between Bush going out and Obama coming in. We think that was all just a huge setup, and to shake out everybody, shake out the weak hands. And then the ETF structure was set up, and the money just poured in. And the markets were off. The market started running on, I think it was March 5th or March 6th of 2009. So like they flipped a switch, and that was it. But today, 70 to 80% of the money, 70%, it's pushing 70% of all the money in the market is in what they call passive funds. Passive. They're just pushing a button and pushing all their money in. So it's like a tsunami of money just flowing in, flowing in. And these targeted date funds are a scam. People go to work for a company and it says, they go in, they say, well, okay, where do I put my 401k money? Okay, well, you're 25 years old, you're going to retire when you're 65. And, the targeted date fund is in 2070. And, you put your money in the targeted date fund 2070. You probably have seen them. Folks, it's a scam in our view. There isn't a spit's worth of difference between the targeted date fund of 2070 and 2025. The strategy for these ETFs, these targeted date funds, is simply you send us money, we buy stock. You ask for your money, we will sell stock. So nobody's asking for their money yet, but they will. They will. And it very well, and we're seeing it. It's usually in this environment when you get a passive market like this, it's going to be something that captures the imagination of the public, something that scares them. And when it happens for good, when it's a good one, whatever that is, good luck trying to get out. Now, I know they got brakes and they got everything, but you also have to remember when 9/11 hit, the market was closed in 5 minutes. And well, in fact, it never opened. I don't think it opened on the 11th. That crash came in before, and the market was closed for 5 days. They can close markets. They can do that. So they won't answer their phones, may not be able to get on, So as traders, we're always prepared. I talked to pilots a little bit, and we have members that are pilots, and it's kind of gross to think of, but they're trained to always think of what if I have to put this plane down, where am I going to put it down? I mean, we're back in the passenger section. We're not thinking about that. We're reading a magazine, watching a movie, and reading a nice book and enjoying the flight. Those guys are up front thinking, hey, if we lose both engines, where are we going to put this thing down? They have to be prepared. Most people don't want to live their life that way, and that's fine. That may not be for them. Once you make a decision, if this is something that you want to do, yeah, you're going to be plugged in. For better or for worse, you better like being plugged in. And there are a lot of folks out there that don't want to be plugged in, and ignorance is bliss, and that's great. And I hope many of them will probably do just fine. Many won't. If you want us to plug anything in, let us know. I kind of rambled on there, but this was the conversation. We've been doing this for ourselves and sharing with others. Susie and I started this really probably shortly after the 9/11. But Stock Market Caddy didn't come out of the ground until 2012, 2013. And it was just an afterthought in terms of like, Susie, I wonder if other folks would benefit or would like to have what we have and would like to know what we've learned, and then just really through word of mouth, very slow progression. That's proved to be the case. We never thought that we would have the folks that we have. We never thought that we would have hundreds of thousands. We're not set up for that. We're never going to be. And it's never going to be that. And it's totally fine. So, but if you want us to plug anything in, if you want us to give you an acid test, let me put this back to the ESH, not 25, but 24. I'm happy to do it. And otherwise I'll just shut up and let you watch. But if you're watching, trying to, buy or sell or short up, and you get all excited because, you make a couple of bucks, that isn't why we're doing what we're doing. Right. Please, we're not trying to prove an outcome. We're not trying to prove anything. We're just trying to show you how we approach things, give you a chance to ask questions, give you a chance to visit the website to learn a little bit more. And, this isn't a red light, green light, this isn't red light, red rover, that sort of thing. And if that's what you want to do, that this isn't what we're doing. Have fun. Any questions, let us know. It's 11:27, so when it gets to be noon, we'll have to turn down YouTube. But we want to say thank you for stopping by. If you still have questions after you visit the site and you want to ask or you want to call, you're always welcome. Have fun. We can show you, this is another view of another tool that is, I'll just kind of see if I can blow this up here. And this is a radar, and in here are the signals coming in. And this is a program that is reading the candles automatically for us. And it's a trade generator. That's the name of let me see if I can grab it here, SMC trade generator. And take this row out, there are how many signals going on? These are going on real time right now. So there are 18 signals, and it's profitable in every single one of them. And it gives you the entry price, tells you how much you'd be up or down if you use $10,000. And it gives you a stop level, and they're all today, short and long. So we can go look at, this could you just be sitting back. This one's only up 1%. You could use options, but it happens to be Visa. And look at that. Visa's going lower, folks. So what are you going to go do? If you short 100 shares, you're gonna use $27,000 in capital. If you get a put on, if you get a put on, you're going to, depending upon how far out you're going to go on, it's going to cost you a certain amount of money. If you simply buy a put, your probability of making money, not the probability itself, but the probability of making money is 33%. If you sell a credit spread on Visa, your probability of profit is going to be 66%. This is all math. This isn't a chart. So we're not winging it. But you have to have an interest to learn the stuff, because I can't and I don't just hand it out. But we do go into detail during the Q school. But this is where they come from, right? I'm not scanning charts like, oh, there's a candle here and I think I'm going to do that. And I'm not reading Steve Neeson's book from the 1970s on candle formations. The machine is reading that information for me, and then some. And but there they are. There's a total of 19, and you can tell in the trade purse that it's profitable in every single one. If you wanted to, and then we even have a radar here. This is called the Options Club Selector, and this is a beautiful tool. This is actually giving us trades for the next couple of days, and it's actually telling you what type of option you might want to consider, because options are all math, and you've got to structure the options correctly, and this is programmed to do that math for us. And over here you can see here, because there'll be a little phantom still, but you'll see like right here, these were trades that were there last night. We're telling people you might want to buy a put debit spread. You might want to buy a put, and you can tell that these have already, come in. The others haven't yet, but they will. They'll have a very high probability, but this will be on the dark side. Look at all these that have come in. But this is how we make our decisions. What we're not doing is going from chart to chart to chart and going from narrative to narrative to narrative, and driving ourselves to drink, with all that distraction. That's what, to bring it full cycle, that's what Dave Portnoy is it's driving him crazy with this Bitcoin nonsense. Quite frankly, I think, long dollar, short euro, and probably be a better, better long, even midterm trade. Makes sense? Now you can see now we don't trade the Dow a whole lot, but you can see that the 5 minute is actually confirming right here. That's why this is shrouded in white. It's a 2. In the last 10 minutes, the Dow has just started to make a move back up. And it looks kind of interesting here. We'll highlight it, not suggesting you trade it. And again, we don't trade the Dow a whole lot. Susan does a little more than me, but I don't particularly not crazy about the Dow, but we'll highlight it. Here it is right here. There's the signal. Here's the price. Here's the time. Here's the date. And the 1 minute is moving in, and we'll see. Now we don't know how high it's going to go, but it's an intraday trade, right? We're not going to be in it. Not likely we're going to be in it tomorrow. May not even be in it by 1 o'clock. I mean, we make our money and leave. Thank you very much. This is active. This is an active sport, and it is a sport. And just in case, we just got a nice email from Arturo from Mexico. Arturo, I just sent you a message back, and we're ready when you are. Be sure to visit if you're passing by. Be sure to visit the website. There's a lot of information there, especially around, the pricing and whatnot. Familiarize yourself with that. Jot down any questions. And if you still got questions, you want to email us or if you want to call, you're welcome to. I'm a real person. You can call me from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. any day, Eastern Standard Time, Eastern US. And my phone number is 813-758-8263. And a big part of what we're doing as well, we've added this column, particularly for stocks, this percent return. We don't really use this intraday, so we'll be removing it. We can hide it. We can hide columns, not to hide it, but just to save space. It's called hide. Give you a for instance, like I can come here and I can come to a column, and I can remove that column, so it's no longer there. Percent return, the percent return might be important. It is important when it comes to longer term buying and holding of stock or of a position. When we're trading actively during the course of a day, what's important to us is profit factor. It really should be important longer term as well, but most people will use percent return. But profit factor is gross profit divided by gross loss, and that actually tells you how much money you're making, right? And that's what it's about. Whether you're trading Bitcoin or lumber or the S&P futures or the dollars or euros, you're looking to get a return on the decision that you made in as short a period of time as possible, hopefully. And we can even put in here as well. We can tell you, I'm going to come back here, long trades, show you, and short trades. So this tells us how many trades there have been since 4 a.m. So on a 1 minute basis, there have been 7 long and 8 shorts. And on a 5 minute basis, there have been 2 and 2. It actually counts the number of trades. So we can see how active a particular market is. We don't always keep that up, but I'll just kind of size it up there. So you can tailor this and to what, and of course we have other tools that can even spread beyond the screen, especially when you're trading stocks and options to get a better view. What we're using is the math, though, behind the options and behind the market, and we're just not buying and selling the narrative. And Wall Street and Madison Avenue, they know how your minds work. We're all human. The advertisers know that, right? This goes back to the whole idea of storytelling. If I tell you an obscure fact, it's just something really obscure, and I come back in 2 or 3 weeks and ask you what that obscure fact was, you won't remember. But if I make up a story and it's an interesting story, right? That's why they're storytellers. It's really, really interesting. That obscure fact you'll remember for months or maybe longer. And that's what they do. It's how your mind, how our minds as humans retrieve data from our minds. We think about the story. It's remember in these libraries, these buildings called libraries, they used to have I don't know if they still do. Well, I guess they do the Dewey. Well, I don't think they have the Dewey Decimal System, but it used to be a Dewey Decimal System in card catalogs, and that's how you'd find your books. So our mind is like a Dewey Decimal System in that the way it collects stuff is the stories. So Madison Avenue know this and Wall Street, so they feed stories, which is a great way to go broke because it's bullshit. Sorry, but it is. Remember the movie Wall Street? Matt McConaughey, because pixie dust, they're having breakfast. Leonardo DiCaprio is the young pup. He's like, the parade comes to town. They roll into town, they roll out of town. Right. So the parade right now is AI. Parade's coming to town. Yay. Everybody, yay, it's all pixie dust, And then the parade will leave town. Then it'll be some other damn thing. Right. But we're not chasing that because they will set that. We want to get on those stocks before the parade comes to town. And that's how we will see. This is how we will see them. You will see them. But if you have this tool, you're going to have to use it, right? You're going to have to get in there and dig them out. You got to put in the stocks that you want to watch. Maybe you want to watch just the S&P 500. Maybe you want to watch the NASDAQ. Maybe you want to watch the Russell 2000. You may have to build 2 or 3 swing machines because you only do so many calculations. You can't put in 2,000. So you'd have to have like 4 or 5 swing machines, to do like 500 stocks at a whack. But it'll do it real time. And then you would see them. You'd see them coming up. Then you can decide. And you don't have to bother yourself with the narrative. It's up to you. Now, we didn't just stumble into this, right? We didn't, right? Sat Susie down, early 2000s. Our members know the story. I said, Susie, what, Don? Doing great. Susie, it's bullshit. What? It's bullshit. But Don, we're doing great. Yeah, I know, but it's not real. It ain't real. So, any case, I remember when I first told Susie, like, well, what are we gonna do? Well, this is what we need to do. We need to track, but now we didn't know it was going to look like this. We didn't know that we're going to use TradeStation. We didn't know we're going to use this tool. We didn't just program this, just out of nothing. It took us a long time. We went through all these different platforms. Many of them sucked. Some of them aren't even around today. Some of them have been bought by other companies. And a lot of trial and error. What, stochastics and MACDs and moving average. Oh, we'll just track the moving average. Guess what? It don't work. It lags. If you're doing the 200-day moving average, especially today, I mean, it might be 50 days. You might get killed. Like, wow, what I'll do is when the stock gets underneath the 200-day moving average, then I'll sell it. But you might be down 50% by then. Be too late. They lag. It's an average 50-day, 20-day. I love these people. They're just, whenever the stock gets underneath the 20-day moving average, just get out. You could get killed. But at least it would be something. But you will get killed. Okay, we got about 7 or 8 minutes left together, and then we got to regroup and move on. I'm happy to answer any questions. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you saw a little something. And there hasn't been much going on here this morning, really. Very, very quiet. I don't think it's going to last, but topping processes are a rounded affair. It takes time. They're rounded. And what do I mean by that? If you were to look at a chart, they kind of do something like this. It's a rounded, I'll make it green. It's kind of rounded. It's got a rounded nature to it. Bottoms many times are V bottoms. Boom. They move very, very sharp and very quickly because of all the short. And there are other markets you don't have. We have all the indices up here because that's what everyone's most interested in. But you can be trading oil, you can be trading gold, you can be trading sugar, you can be trading corn and wheat and copper and silver. You don't have to come in and trade the Nasdaq every single day. But we primarily focus on that because that's what most people are interested in. And there's certainly, plenty of action in the Nasdaq. It's the most leverage. It's usually the most volatile. Pretty tight right now. Volatility is very tight. Low volatility begets high volatility. High volatility begets low volatility. So the volatility is very, very tight. We're going to get an explosion of volatility very, very soon. And we'll be here for it. We'll see it. And it's building cause for it. Most likely that will be to the downside. And when it happens and when it occurs, the fake media, and we were calling it faux media back in like 2000. And we used to say FAUX, faux, was fake. And I mean, the financial media, they're the very originators of fake media. They just make the shit up. So when the market, explodes, Stuart Varney, that boob will go to a producer and probably some 25-year-old kid or something like, hey, give me a story for what happened to the market, And they'll call some, their favorite broker or something, and they'll just make a story up and just attach it. Because again, that's what people want to hear. They want to hear it's just a story, and it's usually just, oh, don't worry about it. Don't sell. It's just a little profit taking. Nobody's ever selling. That's what I used to ask Susie in the early 2000s. Like, Susan, if we're not supposed to sell, then who the hell is selling every goddamn day? All right. Who's doing that? It's how they got to build those big buildings. They're selling. Of course they're selling. Okay. And we're going to have to wrap it up here. I'm not out to change anyone's belief systems. I am not. Nope. Nope. You got to make a decision for yourself. What makes sense to you, what works for you. Visit the site, understand that, see some of the tools, and it should make sense to you. If it doesn't, it doesn't, and that's totally fine. But you I would just suggest, if you've never traded anything before, just go very, very slow, think it through, and go slow. Aim small, miss small. If you've been trading and you've been struggling, you don't know how, you might actually be very, very close to turning a corner. You just may have been given some bad shit to do. And it usually we believe, only about 15 to 20 trades away from an approach that you can repeat that can really get you turned around. Could be as few as 15 to 20. The trick is, the discipline is, once you do that, is not to deviate. Keep doing it, keep repeating it, and bottle it, and keep notes on it, and keep a trading journal for what you were doing. And then when you begin to experiment with other things, just because you might be bored or you're trying to catch something else, you go very, very small moves around the edges. And you may have to revert back to what you were originally doing. And we do that all the time, including myself, right? There's a lot of different ways to do this. So we want to say thank you. And at high noon, we'll have to abruptly end because we've got to get back focused. But thank you. Any questions, we'll monitor on this YouTube chat function. You want to say any one last question or two?